Welcome to Digital Marketing News for Friday, May 6th. I'm your host, Jay Osterholm. WikiLeaks, the highly controversial site that receives and publishes content that many want to keep secure and private, has more company in recent days. On Thursday, the Wall Street Journal launched its own version called SafeHouse, a WikiLeaks-style whistleblowing site. SafeHouse is supposed to be a place where people can anonymously expose corporate, quote, fraud, abuse, and other wrongdoings. However, after launching SafeHouse, the Rupert Murdoch-owned newspaper received a barrage of criticism for putting together a technically weak website that can expose the identity of the individuals submitting sensitive information. One encryption analyst described, quote, SafeHouse as being a total anonymity failure, while other experts say the website needed, quote, basic improvements that should have been addressed before launching. And still coping with the after effects of a pair of attacks that has compromised as many as 100 million accounts and which caused 2 online gaming services to be taken offline, the Japanese electronics giant Sony is considering offering a reward for information leading to the arrest and prosecution of the attackers. As earlier reported here on Digital Marketing News, the attacks compromised millions of credit cards and private consumer information. In a letter from Sony to a U.S. Congressional Hearing, the company details why it blames the denial of service hacker group called Anonymous. The letter stated, quote, Sony Online Entertainment discovered a file on one of those servers named Anonymous with the words, quote, we are Legion, end quote. Later claiming responsibility, then reversing its position and denying responsibility for the big hack. And perhaps the most disturbing aspect of this story is that the group Anonymous says the attacks it launched against Sony were really in protest against Sony for its exercising its right for civil action against a hacker. Last year, Anonymous carried out denial of service attacks against PayPal and against websites of Visa, MasterCard, after those companies stopped allowing people to make financial contributions in support of WikiLeaks. And on a happier note, our third story for the morning, Google has topped the list of the most reputable companies in the United States, according to a Harris Interactive poll. Harris Interactive asked more than 30,000 respondents to identify the 60 most visible companies in the United States and rate them based on 20 different attributes, including financial performance, emotional appearance, social responsibility, and leadership. Technology companies dominated the top-tier list. At number 1 was Google. Other notable tech companies making the top of the list were also Apple, Intel, and Amazon. Rounding out the bottom of the list were insurance conglomerates, banks, and oil companies. AIG received the worst reputation ranking, and British Petroleum, the company perhaps responsible for the worst oil spill in history, had the second worst ranking of all. Other companies that made the bottom tier included Delta Airlines, JP Chase, ExxonMobil, General Motors, Bank of America, Chrysler, Citigroup, and Goldman Sachs. And while Google seems to be America's sweetheart at the moment, this is apparently in spite of the fact that the company now faces government investigations into privacy concerns. Please check back tomorrow for an all-new episode of Digital Marketing News.